Hi folks, this is just a quick video to tell you a little bit more about elements, compounds and mixtures. This wee activity is something that we would do if we were normally in school, but because we're working from home I'm just going to talk you through it just now. What you'll see at the bottom of the screen is 3 categories that say elements, compounds and mixtures. What you'll see in a few moments is some names of substances appearing from the top of the screen. And the idea of this game is that you have to sort each substance into the correct category. So decide whether the substance is an element, a compound, or a mixture. So the first one we've got is blood. Blood is an example of a mixture because it has lots of different things in it, but they are not joined together. Calcium carbonate is a compound. Iron sulfide is also a compound. And at the end we'll talk more about these to describe why they are a compound. Carbon dioxide, another example of a compound. Oxygen we find in the periodic table, so it is an element. It is a substance that contains just one type of atom. Milk is another example of a mixture. Lots of different things within it, but they are not all joined together. They're not all chemically bonded together. Salad dressing, another example of a mixture. Again, lots of different things within it, but not chemically joined together. And the same for air, it is also a mixture. Ammonia, some of you may have heard of this before. Ammonia is a compound. Sulfur we find in the periodic table, so it is an element. Copper, another one that we find in the periodic table, so it goes into elements as well. Sodium chloride is another example of a compound. Lemonade is a mixture. Hydrogen we can find in the periodic table, so it is an element. And final one, nitrogen, is also in the periodic table, which makes it an element too. So the 3 different types of substance we have are elements, compounds and mixtures. An element contains one type of atom and is found in the periodic table. So anything that you see listed in the periodic table is an element, and that is because it has only one type of atom. The middle, you'll see compounds, and some of the names of compounds can give us a clue as to why they fit into that category. So the one at the top, the last one that went into this category was sodium chloride. You can see the name sodium in that name, and chloride kind of sounds like chlorine. And the IDE at the end of the name tells us that these elements are chemically joined together. That's why the name is slightly altered. So sodium chloride is a compound that contains sodium and chlorine chemically joined together. The third one on the list, carbon dioxide, you might have heard of before, quite a common one. You can see the name carbon, and the oxide part tells us that there's some oxygen in there as well. And again, the IDE at the end of the name, slightly altered, tells us that these two elements have been chemically joined together, making a compound. We can say the same for iron sulfide, which is iron and sulfur chemically joined together. And we can also say the same for calcium carbonate, which is calcium and carbon joined together. And because of the ATE at the end, that alteration of the name tells us that these elements are chemically joined together. Some compounds like ammonia have specific names where it's not clear what elements are in them, but we don't need to worry as much about them just now. But these are also compounds because they have different elements that are chemically joined together. So a compound, like you'll see in the little picture above the word compounds, you'll see that there are different types of atom and they are chemically joined together. In the final category, we've got mixtures. All of these mixtures that you see in that category all have lots of different things within them, but they are not chemically joined together. So that's why they're not compounds, but instead they are mixtures, because you have lots of different things, but they are not chemically bonded together.